I've got some good ones for you this time. We're gonna take a look at some of these rare pieces from the 70s, stuff we don't see here in Des Moines, Iowa very often. A couple of these I've never seen before. One of them is really expensive. At least it was when it was brand new. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's check it out. And first up on deck, we've got the Wharfedale. These are W25s. This is an older speaker from the early 70s. I'm not sure if these were made in England or if they were designed in England and then manufactured over here in the States. You know, some models were, some models weren't, but these are OG Wharfedales. Real quick, is it Wharfedale or is it Wharfedale? I've heard both. I've been corrected for saying both. So you guys be the judge. Put down in the comments. Do you pronounce the E or do you just say Wharfedale? It's still technique, so. The W25s is a two-way acoustic suspension design. I really like these speakers. You know, they remind me of kind of an AR, East Coast sound, non-ported, not super bright. They're laid back, they're mellow. I think you could listen to these all day long and not get any ear fatigue. It's not the most exciting speaker in the world, but pair this with a tube amplifier, I think you're golden, honestly. I was told by the person I bought these from that these are the factory binding posts, and these are decent. They're probably magnetic, so those of you out there that stick magnets to your speaker terminals to see if they're worthy, they're probably not going to pass the test. And you do have a potentiometer back here for your tweeter roll-off. There's one capacitor in the speaker, and it's already been changed. They're nice and heavy. They're well built. The tweeter doesn't look like much. 8-inch woofer. It's a rubber surround, so no rotting issues, at least as far as these woofers go. Actually, a good friend of ours, John, up in Minnesota, wanted to buy these last time he was in. They're already promised to him if he still wants them. He's going to be coming down for the British invasion on August 17th. So definitely come down for that, or if you're in the area, stop in. It's a Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. Cambridge Audio is going to be here. Acoustic Sound sent us a bunch of records to play that day. It's going to be fun. Definitely come in and hang out with us that day. What a cool speaker. I mean, it looks cool, it's built well, and it sounds great. That's a win-win-win-win. Wharfedale, or Wharfedale, however you pronounce it. W25s. This is a Pioneer SX2000, or maybe, I think it might be an ES2000. It's an ES2000. And this was part of a kind of an all-in-one system where, you know, you get the receiver, you get the two speakers, and you get the turntable. This is the first one I've ever seen. I didn't know they existed. Somebody brought this one in. The bummer, well, one, it's got this cardboard back panel, which isn't the end of the world. I mean, you have to imagine this was all pretty budget friendly, but you've got these really bad speaker plugs. It made setting up the system idiot proof. Sorry, lack of a better word. You know, you couldn't mess up the polarity. They just plugged in. Well, the problem is you can't get them. You know, like the other Pioneer speaker plugs from the early 70s, these are even worse. They're even more rare. It's kind of been sitting in the back there, waiting to figure out a solution for this. And otherwise, it's, you know, pretty standard Pioneer receiver with phono, auxiliary, tape monitor, record, and a DIN. So if you wanted to run maybe a reel-to-reel or something like that through there. Normal AM/FM antenna, and a couple outlets, one switched, one not switched. From the front, it looks like, you know, like a regular Pioneer. There's not much unique about it other than that it was only sold as an all-in-one unit. I actually found a couple videos online, and one of those YouTubers, Michael Yates, hopefully I'm not mispronouncing that, said that these were $500 in the US when they were made, and they were sold between 1973 and 1976. And this unit is 18 watts per channel. Show you the inside. I'm gonna have to use another camera, brace yourselves. Here we go, here's the inside. I don't see anything that screams really poor quality. Ooh, the transformer's a little bit janky, but you know, what do you expect? You're buying an all-in-one system. Otherwise, it looks okay. I don't see anything bad here. You got plastic housing for those lamps. Looks like we're totally missing one over here. You know, and for the people out there that are not into LEDs, you know, with this plastic, it's going to start to get brittle. And those incandescent lamps, I mean, they generate a pretty good amount of heat, and all they're doing right now is drying out that plastic. There's oil in that plastic, and it makes it brittle. You'll see them sometimes where, you know, they've gotten so hot that this housing is actually starting to melt, and it's not making contact with the lamps anymore. So I understand people want to keep things original, but on the flip side, you know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lamps. That would take about maybe 10 minutes to change those to LEDs. And if you ever wanted to take it back to original, it'd take 10 minutes to put incandescents in them. So I hear a lot of hate online about LEDs. I don't know, I don't get it really. I don't. But hey, we all have our own opinions. I've never seen one of these before. This is a really high-end Technique system from the late 70s. It was considered their professional series. Looking at the MSRP from back in the day, these were expensive. I was blown away when I started looking up what they sold for back in the day. So really cool. I'm gonna go grab it. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. This Techniques is crazy. So I've got the amplifier, the preamplifier, the EQ, the tuner, and the tuner controller. And that's where this thing gets nuts, is really the tuner and the tuner controller. Bought this from the original owner. He was good enough to keep the original brochure, the pamphlet with all the goodies in it, all the manuals, everything. So these were manufactured between 1976 all the way up to 1981. The SE9060 is 70 watts per channel in stereo, or 180 watts mono, and the MSRP was $629. The SU9070, which is the preamp, was $399, and the SH9010, which is the EQ, was $449. So it was $50 more than the preamp, which is already kind of crazy. Now this is where it gets nuts. The tuner and the tuner controller, which are separate units, were $550 each. You know, and this goes to show you that, you know, buying the latest and greatest technology, you're always going to pay quite a bit of money for it, because this really was integrated into almost every tuner starting in the mid 80s, where you had the ability to set presets and stuff like that. I honestly don't know what this thing is capable of. Disclaimer, I don't like complex electronics. I don't like reading manuals. I wish I did. I've got friends that love that stuff. You know, before they even listen to their equipment, they've got the manuals and they're digging through it and they're taking notes, and that's what this is. Reminds me of trying to program an Early's VCR to record a channel at a certain time of night. I don't want to do it. I don't like that stuff. I like my electronics with as little bells and whistles as possible. And so, you know, doing the research on these pieces, I actually reached out to Ed from Old Guy Hifi, and I said, hey man, I got these in. I got a feeling there's going to be some people that are going to want the ins and outs of it. Are you interested in making a video on these? And he said, sure. Ed is the man for that. Watching Ed's videos, he loves dissecting these things. So if this system is of interest to you, definitely go subscribe to Ed's channel, Old Guy Hifi. Great channel, great information, great guy. There you go. I powered them on. I listened to it a little bit. It sounds really good. The problem I had with it, the volume and the balance knobs, there's quite a bit of static and dropout in them. This is like a 9-gang Alps pot, you know, one of those enclosed black potentiometers that make it impossible to clean. For that reason, you know, I'm probably not going to sell these. I'll probably just let Ed sell them after he's done doing his review, or maybe he can do a giveaway. I didn't pay a lot for them because I knew the potential for the issues. It's a really cool piece. It's just not for me. These are Avid 103s. And the information I got them was from 1977, and they were $179 a piece. So not a cheap speaker, really heavy actually. These were made in Rhode Island here in the States. This is an 8 ohm speaker, 83 dB efficient, so you need some power. I'd at least want 50 watts with these. It's another acoustic suspension design. It's not ported. You've got a mid-range, a tweeter, you've got a potentiometer for your tweeter level, and then you've got another woofer that's got a rubber surround on it, which is nice because they don't rot. There are some cool things about this speaker for sure. You could get 8 different grill cloth colors. When you bought the speaker, they came with the brown, but you could buy different colors, and they actually show you in the manual on how you change out the fabric on these. Really easy to do. It's kind of got it's like a bug screen for a patio door, that type of thing, where this piece comes out, you wrap the cloth over and you put this sealer back in there. I like these metal grommets too for holding the grill cloth on. I wish other companies would have done that as well, because they actually work, you know, unlike the plastic ones on like JBLs and Pioneers that are always broken. They just made some smart choices with their design. I like the Avid speaker. It sounds really good. Most people like the speaker when they hear it, and I agree with them. I did too. So I'm glad I got to listen to them. It's just another cool speaker to keep your eyes out for. Not junk, heavy. I mean, they're heavy. Pioneer PL518X. This is another one of those Euro models. It's the exact same thing as a PL518. The gray, almost like silverish looking turntables that are built so well. This would be their Europe counterpart. And as far as I know, they were only sold in Europe. And the only difference is that it's black. And it is dual voltage. You've got a selector here for 110 or 220. You know, a lot of times with the Euro models, they knew, you know, it'd be military or people overseas that were buying them, and they would want to take them home. So they made them dual voltage. You know, a lot of other receivers from the 70s, even though it's a US model, was dual voltage as well. It's really not that rare to have a dual voltage piece of stereo equipment from the 70s. What makes this rare is you just don't see them. It's just not something that walks in all the time. And I definitely prefer the black finish over the silver of the 518. The 518 tends to want to stain really bad, you know, over time. But for those of you out there maybe working on a Pioneer Euro system, this would complete it really well if you had like the 590, 690, 790, that era of Pioneer. This is the turntable you want to complete your overseas European Pioneer set. I've got one more for you. I'm going to show you in the back room. I just got them in on Saturday, and I might have actually overpaid for these. It's a set of ADS, they're M12s. I didn't pay that much, and I knew it wasn't the original finish, which is why I didn't pay very much for them, because I'm going to have to kind of sand them down and touch up the woodwork. I'll take you back there. I'll show you these real quick. They're ADS M12s. I did test the woofers and tweeters. They're a 4 ohm speaker from what I understand, and they're a little bit hard to drive. And you can tell they put clear coat on them and they did a real terrible job. There's actually some runs on the side you can feel, and so I got to take care of that. We just don't see a lot of ADS. The amount of times that we get calls from people wanting to know if we have ADS is pretty often. We just don't see them very often. You know, again, it might be different, you know, where you live, but here in Des Moines, Iowa, ADS is not a common speaker, and there's a lot of demand for them. So these might be worth putting a little bit of money into and a little bit of time. So I just got a call from Kung Fu Tap and Taco. It's a bar that we have a stereo system in. It's vintage, it's super cool, it's a great bar. He's coming to pick up his amp, and I just wanted to show it to you because we don't get a lot of Nico. And a lot of people ask about it. This is an Alpha 1, I believe, Alpha 2, big power amplifier. A lot of Nicos we've had a lot of trouble with getting good schematics for. So we've kind of sworn them off, but this one has a decent schematic and we got it serviced. He's going to take it back and put it back in the bar. I'm going to power it on just so you can see it lit up. It's got really cool VU meters on it. Yeah, this is a workhorse of an amp. It runs all day long in a bar. I think they've had it in service for 3 years now, and this is the first problem we've had with it. So good amplifier from a brand that unfortunately is kind of sketchy when it comes to repairability. But anyway, Nico Alpha 2. Don't forget August 17th. That's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of giveaways. You're going to want to be here. Otherwise, head over to skylabsaudio.com. Check out t-shirts, slip mats, Grado headphones, Advanced Paris, Cambridge Audio. Lots of stuff there. And also head over to Chad at Acoustic Sounds. The man's incredible, and he's making the most incredible records there are available right now. Can't thank him enough for the support with the upcoming event. Dad's doing good. Everything's looking up right now. Keeping our fingers crossed. Thank you all very much. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks.